guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sydney if you're new here, and today I wanted to talk about something a little bit more serious. Before we start, I just want to say thank you so much guys for all the love and support you guys have given me on my YouTube channel so far. Everyone who watched my last video with my husband, that was super fun. So if you want any more of that or want any like Q&As or couple tags or anything, just write something down in the comments below and I'll be sure to get on it. But back to the lecture at hand, I wanted to talk about something a little bit more serious, as you can tell by the title of this video. So if you guys have any triggers with anything that has to do with like guns, like theft, or anything like that, I don't know what the terminology is, but if you have anything like that, please don't watch this video. I don't want to disturb anyone, but I just want to talk about this real experience I had with my husband because I've gotten some questions about my experience here as it regards to like theft and crime and anything like that, and I just want to be transparent. So without further ado, I'm just gonna get into the story. So basically this was during one of the few lockdowns they had in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So I am currently living here, if you don't know, blah blah blah, with my husband. And he is born and raised Brazilian from Sao Paulo. So we were in the lockdown of the pandemic, and this was one of the ones where Brazil had some like funky rules with the pandemic, where it was a lockdown, but you could still go to some places and stuff like that. And so we were basically self-quarantining for the entire lockdown, and we were getting a little stir crazy. And my husband basically just suggested that we go for a bike ride because he has a motorcycle. And I was like a little reluctant at first because COVID is so bad here, but I was going like stir crazy, so I was like, sure. And he was like, what if we just stop by the Nike outlet just to like window shop and just chill? And I was like, sure. And he told me it was in this other part of the city that I've never been to, so it was like it'd be nice for you to like see another area and get to know the city a little bit more. So I was like, sure. So we got dressed and we got our helmets and we got on the motorcycle. So my husband is just driving around like leisurely, showing me different areas, basically pointing at things and like being like, oh, I used to do this there, I used to play basketball there, and just basically just giving me a feel for the city and more about his like childhood here. So we were kind of going out of our neighborhood that we live in and into another place that's like a little bit more sketchy, and it was like a little bit run down. And so I was just noticing like the different like neighborhoods and different areas, the different architecture, the different people. And I'm like on the back of the bike because my husband rides and I don't know how to. And we're just riding around and I see like this red light and I was just like, okay, cool. So we're at this red light and I'm just chilling, just like looking around. And I see this like car pull up beside us. Mind you, they pull up right beside us and we're at a red light and there's a car in front of us. So there's a car in front of us, then us, and then this car pulls up beside us instead of pulling up all the way to the light. So I was like, it's a little sketchy. But my husband has like a pretty nice bike, so I just assumed like they're admiring it, because sometimes when we'll be riding around, like little kids will run up and be like, can I like rub the engine? And my husband will be like, yeah, sure, of course. And they'll just like a million times. So I honestly just assumed that it was something like that. But then I started to look a little bit more and I noticed that like the guys, there was two guys in the driver's seat and the passenger seat that were just like sitting really like really low. And they just like kept like looking over and I was kind of just like, I don't know, you know when your like spidey senses start tingling and like that's how I was feeling. So I was like, oh fuck. But I was like, I didn't want to pass any judgment because I'm still new to Brazil. I'm a estrangeira. So I'm not from here. I don't know. Like I was just like, I didn't want to pass any judgment and be judgmental, and it was like really no big deal. So I just chilled out. And then this bike, another motorcycle, pulls up between us and the car. And I was like, okay, now some weird really is going on. So the guy starts speaking to my husband in Portuguese, and I speak Portuguese, but I wouldn't say I'm like articulate, like the most fluent person in the group. So I was just like listening out, but I could notice one thing that was different by the way this guy spoke. Like he spoke with a lot of slang that's native to like this area, and I'm not well versed in that, so I was just like missing things here and there. But as my husband was speaking to him, I was still watching the car that was pulled up beside us, and I could see them like still looking in, and the passenger of the car started like reaching over into the space between the seat and like the middle thing of the car, I don't know what it's called, and like reaching for something, and it had like a blunt end, kind of like a gun. I don't know for sure if it was a gun, but it kind of looked like one. So he was like reaching over as my husband is like talking to the guy on the bike, and I could hear my husband be like, I'm from here, what's up? And the guy was kind of like, oh, so what you doing around here? My husband's like, I'm just riding. And he's like, oh, so you one of us? And my husband was like, yeah. And the guy would say something, and my husband would be like, what? Like, speak up, because the guy would like talk and then like turn away like to the car. And my husband would be like, yo, like, I can't hear you, what are you saying? Like, it was like, oh, like, I was just wondering, and then like turned away. And so my husband literally like tapped the dude and was like, yo, what's good? Like, what are you saying? He's like, oh no, it's nothing, like nothing. And then he said something under his breath, and I saw my husband like think like really quick and start like reaching for his pocket, posturing like he had a gun or a weapon or something. My husband doesn't carry guns or anything like that, but just like posturing. And the guy like straightened up real quick and was like, oh no, we good, bro. And my husband was like, oh, all right, all in Portuguese. And we pulled off and proceeded to go to the Nike outlet. And I noticed on the way, we were like 10 minutes away from the Nike outlet, my husband was like really cautious for the rest of the ride, like looking around and stuff like that, trying to make sure like anything was going on. And so when we finally got to the outlet and we got off the bike, he was like, do you know what happened? And I was like, they're gonna rob us. He was like, yeah, they're gonna take the motorcycle. And I was like, wow, really? He was like, yeah, the guys in the car were with the guy on the bike. And I guess it's like a typical like thing they do here in Brazil, where someone on a bike will pull up to someone and like check them out, and then they'll be like, get off the bike. And then the person who's in the passenger seat of the car will get out and then take the bike, and then they'll just pull off and leave you on the street. So he was like, yeah, they were all together and everything. He was like, probably the car that was parked in front of us was together too, because they didn't pull off and the light turned green. And I was like, wow. And he was like, basically, he told me like, he was asking me like, are you from where I'm from? Are you from here? Asking him questions, basically trying to check him out to see like if he was someone he could with or not. And my husband like had to switch the way he acted, switch the way he talked, like code switch everything to be like, yo, I'm from here, like was good, like to make sure that they weren't going to rob us of our bike. And the guy was basically like, oh yeah, like if you weren't one of us, I would have took your bike and left you here. And so like it was crazy, all that stuff happened so quickly, but at the same time it like happened in slow motion, if you know what I mean. Like, and what it really taught me is that like you gotta trust your senses. Not that I could have done anything, because we were totally they decided to rob us anyways, but it was just like I had a feeling that something trippy was going on, but I was just like, nah, I don't want to be judgmental, and I just like pushed it away. So trust your judgment. And in terms of like questions people have asked me about like safety here, I would really just say like that's probably been like the only incident I've ever had. I've been to Brazil numerous times before moving here. I've lived here for almost a year now, and I've really been like super safe. I would say it's probably similar to living in any major city, but you deal with crime, but at the same time there's certain things that are a little bit worse here. Like, I can't talk to any other city, but in Boston, where I'm from, you can walk with your cell phone out, you can talk on your phone, you can scroll, you can do whatever you want. You can have basically your laptop. I wouldn't say that because that just sounds stupid, but you would basically be fine and not have to worry about someone coming and robbing you. But here, there's a lot more like petty theft and stuff like that. So people who will come up and like take your phone or snatch your snatch your wallet. So that's something you really have to like be careful about here. I've literally watched someone be walking with their iPhone and someone just ran by and just snatched it. So that's one thing I would say you have to be careful about. But I have a lot of friends who've come here and visited, and they've never had any of those experiences and had literally wonderful times. So I wouldn't say like don't let that deter you or this story deter you from coming to Brazil. Like, Brazil is an amazing country. I think it's absolutely wonderful. And as long as you just stay in like basically touristy places and don't like do anything stupid, you'll be perfectly fine. You'll be safe. So yeah, thank you for sitting through my little story time about the time we almost got, I don't know, what you call it, bike jacked, because carjacked, I don't know. Basically, we almost got robbed for our bike, but my husband's quick thinking saved us, and the Lord Jesus Christ. So if you want to know anything more, you want another story time, I've gone through a lot of crazy stuff in Boston too. Even story times about college or anything. I think I'm gonna grow out my hair, so if you want to see a little bit more about my hair journey, let me know. Literally anything, I'm down to record, so just leave a comment down below. I just want to thank you guys again for your continued support and everything. I'm really trying to get into this YouTube stuff, so just bear with me. And yeah, again, thank you. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and follow me on Instagram. Thanks guys, love you, bye. Okay, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new or you don't know me, my name is Sydney, and I am just